Recently, I got asked a question. Jay, you were a full contact jouster. You placed third in Estes Park. You were a Hollywood stuntman. You've been set on fire, and you were a professional wrestler. What's the craziest thing you've ever done? And the answer is always the same. It's soapbox racing. And you're probably thinking, really, just going down a hill in one of those little cars? Maybe I should show you what I'm talking about. Now I'm going to give you three guesses on who that is right there. Getting rear-ended and doing a back somersault. Well, that's your Uncle Jay, America's boyfriend. 5 days out of ACL surgery. Now this all took place around 2005 in Southern California. Dirty Dave McGowan and I were looking to get into off-road Barbie Jeep downhill rallies. Stuff like that, big wheel racing. And old Dirty Dave, he saw a video of illegal soapbox racing in the valley on YouTube, and he showed it to me. He's like, you gotta check this out. And we both said, fuck the Barbie Jeep shit, we're gonna do this. The San Fernando Valley Illegal Soapbox Federation had taken YouTube by storm. Hundreds of people would show up at 6 a.m. to watch these morons go down neighborhood hills in LA. The SFVISBF, started by Paul the Carcass Valera and the incomparable Tick One, and their first race only had a few drivers, and each car had camcorders duct taped to them, and a Hollywood editor friend of the Carcass would put the footage together and upload these awesome videos, and I'll put the link down below. And the rules were simple. Whatever you could weld together and put some steering and brakes on, you were good. No motors, no added weight, all gravity powered. Seppi Mays was a BMX freestyle pro from the 1980s that came down from the Bay Area and would race with us. He was really fast. A guy that also came down from the Bay Area, he built a soapbox out of an airplane cockpit, the X5, and you saw it just earlier going around that corner. Heavy as fuck, super fast, but couldn't turn with a shit. My car right there, the 805 Hot Puss, was a stolen kid's shopping cart that I ripped off of Vaughn's or Ralph's, one of those two. I took the plastic body off, I welded together a frame, and I mounted it on there. The rear axle, if you could see, it's twin bicycle forks with 20-inch cambered wheels, and the front axle came off a broken ride mower that I got for 20 bucks on Craigslist. Dirty Dave, he was the brains of the operation. He had that thing dialed in with the alignment. It was super solid. I overinflated the tires to have a smaller footprint. I took the dust covers off the ceramic bearings and soaked them in Slick 50. And I must have done about 50 miles an hour in the puss. And I used to put women's panties on the rear handle that they would leave in my bedroom, like they were marking territory. Dirty Dave went on Craigslist. We were looking for go-kart shit, and he found an off-road racing wheelchair, and that thing hauled ass off the line. He ended up crashing in someone's front yard on the first turn of our first race with a few other guys, and that was earlier in the video. You'll see, you saw him hit the curb and fly into the grass. I somehow made it to the finish line, and it was a downhill demolition derby. If you won, you got the trophy, which was a bunch of stuff all welded together, and you had to add something to it. And over the years, it became this big, huge piece of art. It was really cool looking. Another soapbox I made was from an 80s arcade racing game, Sega Turbo. I built a frame around the cabinet, and I took out the monitor, and I put a racing seat in there, a plastic seat. And I kept the steering wheel from the game in there, and Dirty Dave and I linked it to the front axle, and I wrecked that thing, I think, on the third race, and then I later made Sweet Tooth out of that, and I got Crash of the Year in that thing. Anyways, so the Carcasses group and Tick, their group spawned other groups. Dirty Dave and I started Vulgar, the Ventura Underground League of Gravity Racing. The seniors in Orange County, they started a group. Next thing we knew, groups were starting up in countries around the world. South America, Scotland, Australia had a big group. In fact, 3 of them came out one summer and raced with us, and they stayed at the house where I was renting a room out of, and they had a blast. And the next year, I went out there in Australia and I raced with those guys. We were in Hot Rod Magazine, Traditional Rod and Culture, all kinds of car magazines. We went to car shows with our soapbox cars. Pin-up models would come out and pose on our soapbox cars for magazine spreads. We were a big thing. It was a big part of SoCal culture at that time. So how it worked was we would show up at the meet point. We're all in this Yahoo group message board. And Paul, the carcass, would say, this is the meet point. And it'd be at a donut shop somewhere or something. And once we got there, he would hand out a card from a deck with a number on it that he sharpied on there. And that number determined your place in the starting line. Nobody knew what the course was going to be like at all. The carcass would be like, okay, everybody follow me. We'd all jump on our trucks and follow him wherever we were going up the back of some road or whatever in this neighborhood. And he would stop and we'd all quietly unload once we got there. Then once everybody was lined up, he would say something like, okay, once we get going, take your first right, stay on the road until you see the traffic cone. That's the finish. He would leave a traffic cone out, and nobody knew what the course was going to be like. So we had no idea what the race was going to be like. And then once we were ready to go, he'd start to count down 3, 2, 1. We'd let off the brakes, and we'd go from a crawl to high speeds through nice neighborhoods, watching boomers picking up their Sunday papers, wondering what the fuck's going on. They always called the cops, but we'd be out of there. We'd be loaded up and gone before LAPD would show up. Sometimes they would show up and give us a bunch of shit and try and give us a citation for something, but because there's no motors in these things, it's not a motor vehicle. Some cops thought it was hilarious, and they would escort us through stop signs and intersections and shit. And this would later come back to bite all of us in the ass. Even the cops, us, everybody. More on that later. But the fastest I've ever done in a soapbox car was called Aaron is a Pussy. A guy named Aaron built the thing. It was super fast. He crashed it in his first race and then quit. And so that was the name of his car. We ended up getting it and improving on the design. I did about 64 miles an hour in that thing. According to Seppi Mays, that's how fast I went because I was pulling away from him. Fast Donnie, a senior from Orange County, he's the first guy to break 100 miles an hour, I believe. Another fast driver was a guy from Watts, big black dude, and he lived right by the Watts Towers. He kept his soapbox in a burned out shop in his neighborhood, and he went by the name The Future. That's what he went by. I remember Fast Donnie and Danny went out to Watts one day to pick up his soapbox for him. And the neighborhood didn't know what to think of when a couple old white boomers were snooping around. But that was the thing about the illegal soapbox racing. It brought all kinds of people together from all over the place. We had guys from Vegas came out, Utah, like everywhere. To say that this shit was a big deal is an understatement. And sadly, it all came to an end one Sunday morning. I was up in Northern California at a jousting event, and when I got off the field, my phone had like a dozen text messages, 5 voicemails, and there was a race that morning, and I called one of the guys and asked what was going on, and he told me that a guy that we raced with named Matt had hit a parked car and passed away. They managed to get one race out of the way, and they were going to do another one. And after the first race, he mentioned that his steering seemed a bit off, and a couple of the guys said that he should probably sit it out, and he said, no, I think it's all right, and he wanted to go down anyways. He was in a driving faction called the Slut Kings, and he was one of the nicest guys. He loved soapbox racing and working on his car, and that day changed everything. The cops were on us at that point. KCLA made a news segment about it and used a clip of the cops giving us an escort through an intersection. It was really bad press. They monitored our Yahoo group and was at the meet points before we even got there. So then the carcass started mailing out postcards to all the drivers with an address and a time so that we could still race and avoid the cops. But eventually it all just stopped. Anyways, let's get this video playing again. I really want you guys to see the rest of this. I think the reason why I'm doing this video is because it shouldn't have stopped. Matt loved soapbox racing with his buddies, and he died doing the one thing he loved the most, and there's worse ways to go. And I'm thinking about making another soapbox car. I miss going down the hills, and I'd love to see this come back, and I'd love to see some of you guys doing it. It's fun. And we need to start doing fun things again. We need to bring back the stuff like this, and the camaraderie was something I really miss, and makes the world a better place. All right, guys, high fives and boners, and yeah, click the links down below, please, and yeah, I'll see you at the bottom of the hill because I'm faster than you.